The culture of Korea's women divers, or haenyeo, has been added to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list. How do the haenyeo feel about their culture being added, and what effect will the listing have in the longer term? Our Iji-won went to the southernmost island of Jeju to find out herself. Our news feature tonight.
For centuries, women called haenyeo on Korea's southernmost island of Jeju have made a living harvesting seafood by hand. And on Wednesday, the free diving tradition made it onto UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity list. Korea's proposal to UNESCO said that the culture promotes social cohesion, contributes to environmental preservation and sustainable development, and promote women's rights.
The UNESCO list works to preserve items of cultural heritage that hold significant values that need to be passed on to the next generations. And Jeju's haenyeo culture has a number of qualities that must be preserved and passed on.
But how do the haenyeo themselves feel about their culture being added to the UNESCO list? And how will the listing affect them?
We couldn't be happier to have our culture be inscribed and preserved as a piece of world culture heritage. I am very proud. I don't regret becoming a haenyeo.
We've gone to a lot of places around the globe to promote the haenyeo culture, and it's finally being recognized by the world. It would have been better if this day had come earlier, which could have brought more changes into our lives when things were the toughest. But I'm still very glad.
The haenyeo dive as deep as 10 to 20 meters to collect marine products such as conch, octopus, and sea urchins, work that's both difficult and dangerous. They wear flippers and goggles, but carry no special equipment. The culture has changed a great deal over the years, including the arrival of practices and elements that have made their work more convenient and the disappearance of others. This stone wall is called bultak. Haenyeos use these walls to change their clothes, take some rest, and warm their frigid bodies after long dives. But there's a deeper meaning and significance to this place.
Being a haenyeo requires a lot of practical knowledge. But in the olden days, there were no schools that taught them how to do the job. And it was at these bultaks where the experienced haenyeo would teach the novices. It's also where various discussions of closed seasons and regulations were made. It's basically where the haenyeo communities were established.
The bultaks were replaced by changing rooms with shower facilities by 2000, after the government started supporting the haenyeo with subsidies in the early 1990s. Another major change in the haenyeo culture is the outfit. The women now wear rubber wetsuits that cover the whole body, allowing the haenyeo to keep their body temperature steady, so their work isn't so dependent on the water temperature. But before the suits were introduced in 1970s, the haenyeo wore simple clothing made of cotton called sokgot, which had side vents and were very easy to put on and take off. But because a sokgot only covers the torso and is made of cotton, it can't keep the body warm.
We have much more comfortable conditions compared to our mothers. With the flippers and rubber suit, we can stay in the water longer.
However, even with these changes in the haenyeo culture, their numbers have been on the decline. Just 4,300 haenyeo were active last year, a decrease of more than 40% compared to 30 years ago.
It's a shame that young people are not interested in becoming haenyeo anymore. The job is dangerous and tough, so young girls prefer to study and go to a normal office for work.
But with the tradition being added to UNESCO's Intangible Cultural Heritage list, there's renewed hope that the culture can be preserved. Experts say that preserving the haenyeo culture and increasing their numbers is the responsibility not only of the local community and state government, but also the general public.
Being a haenyeo is an occupation before it is a culture, and it needs to create profit and be maintained as a profession in order for it to last as a culture. It's now time for everyone to think of ways to preserve this unique job, including by protecting the sea and establishing a system to promote the haenyeo's regional products.
Iji-won, 아리랑 뉴스 제주.